Hi, I'm the Recruiting Maven and welcome back to my channel. So I just want to say a quick thank you for all those who like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I deeply appreciate your support. For those of you who are new to my channel, I have an ever-growing playlist with career tips and advice. And for those of you who are looking for more of a one-on-one coaching, please make sure you check out the description box below for all my contact information and social media links. With that said, I wanted to dive into today's topic of conversation, and that is one of diversity inclusion, but more focused on the discrimination aspect of it. Now, last week I did do a video addressing diversity inclusion and wanted to really expand on that idea because this channel is strictly for, well, I don't want to say strictly, but it includes career tips and advice. And in addition to that, the main platform is what that's going to mean to your career within the context of the fourth industrial revolution, with all the new technology that is out and available not only to HR, but just across the board to every single industry out there. I just felt compelled to create the channel based on that. I don't think the media is doing a great job of educating everyone. And so with that said, I wanted to dive in to today's topic and wanted to address one particular software, and that is facial recognition. Now, I know that with, the iPhone 10 and everybody has to have it, and it's beautiful. It is really a beautiful piece that they've brought out. I think iPhones are just probably aesthetically one of the most beautiful pieces of technology there is out there. Not the only one, but certainly one of them. And so I think that facial recognition has really snuck into our everyday lives. Facial recognition is not a new software by any means. It's not new technology by any means. And once it becomes mainstream, I think that people think, wow, this is the latest thing, and wow, isn't this great? And it just becomes so seamlessly integrated into our daily lives that we don't realize what the ramifications of that would be. So I'm proposing that, like that DNA type of candidacy. So I had addressed within my last video stating that instead of a CV or a resume, we would be using DNA as a form of identifying you and considering you and your candidacy. Now, the idea was inspired by Professor Yuval Harari, and he is at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, and I do follow him. He's a phenomenal mind, and so you can certainly Google him. But within that same line of thinking, branching out to facial recognition, I just thought, it'd be interesting to see how it's not just going to unlock your phone, but it's going to be used in such an expansive way. I know that Facebook uses that as well, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But, it bothers me in particular because I think that, it's such an interesting topic for me. I know I once walked into an elevator and this is not my first experience in this situation, although this is one of my favorite stories to tell, but I did walk into an elevator where there were other Hispanics in the elevator, and because I did not look like them, I think that they assumed that I was not Hispanic, which I am. Mi primera lengua es español. So not knowing how well I spoke Spanish and that it is my native tongue, they decided that they were going to talk very badly about me. And, standing in the elevator feeling very uncomfortable, what do you do? What do you say? So I decided that as I exited the elevator, I would just say to them in Spanish, "Have a wonderful day. Que tenga un buen día." And I walked off, and you could hear the astonishment as I walked off because it was very interesting to assume something wrong about a person based on their looks. And so tying it back to that facial recognition, it truly bothers me because you don't know, based on how someone looks, what their nationality, what their culture is. You just don't have a clue. So I think in terms of we're branching out from maybe using a social security number and doing background checks to taking a look at how a person looks and deciding based on that, because now the data that can be accumulated from that data across the board, across social media, across anything and everywhere that you possibly have ever been in the world, whether you've been to Madrid, whether you've traveled to Thailand, all these places have cameras. And at some point, your face was probably included in those streets somewhere. And so building an algorithm that will be able to find you anywhere in the world, it's mind-blowing to me. And we're going from just a very finite type of way of processing your candidacy to a way that is just almost sci-fi. It's almost a sci-fi movie, really. And although I'm a huge fan of sci-fi movies, it blows my mind to think that way. And it makes me a little hesitant, because assuming that a person based solely on their face is quite alarming. I know a few of you, I think it was about 10 years ago, it was very fashionable to have your picture on a resume. And of course, you do have your picture on your LinkedIn profiles and your Facebook pages and so forth. But again, it's the software that will be able to identify you from every single place you've ever been, on a video, on a photograph that somebody's tagged you. I know I woke up the other morning and Facebook let me know that my facial recognition had been activated on my Facebook, and in a way it's serving to protect me, because somebody could use my image, right, that I haven't authorized to have them do that. So there's that piece as well. I mean, it's not all fire and brimstone, but certainly the ramifications are so I don't know, just very scary to me. With that said, I do know that it's an ongoing conversation. I don't think that it's just one video is going to solve everything, but certainly from my personal experiences, I do have my hesitations about it, and I'm just uncomfortable at this point. I may grow to like it. I may grow desensitized to facial recognition software, but when you think about all the things that could go wrong without proper legislation, it's scary to me. So with that said, I would love to get some of your thoughts and ideas about this topic. I'm open to whatever you have to suggest. And if you know a lot more about the actual software, please do let me know. I'm a huge tech fan, and although I'm not a software engineer, I would love to hear your comments on that as well. With that said, again, if you do need some career tips and advice, please make sure you check out my ever-growing career playlist. With that said, for those of you who do need more one-on-one coaching, please make sure you check out the description box below. And with that, I leave you today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a lovely afternoon.